Debate night, round two. Another 10 Democrats take the stage in the Motor City, hoping for a signature moment and momentum on the campaign trail. The biggest target tonight, the presumed frontrunner, Joe Biden.
First of all, Mr. Vice President, it looks like one of us has learned the lessons of the past and one of us hasn't.
Mr. Vice President, you want to be President of the United States. You need to be able to answer the tough questions. I guarantee you, if you're debating Donald Trump, he's not going to let you off the hook.
Mr. Vice President, you can't have it both ways. You invoke President Obama more than anybody in this campaign. You can't do it when it's convenient and then dodge it when it's not.
A few jabs there. Good evening, everyone. I'm Marley Ginter. Off the top tonight, we do want to go live to Detroit. 24-hour News 8 political reporter Rick Albin standing by. All right, Rick, your thoughts on night number two?
Well, Marley, just like that, it's done. After all of the buildup, after all of the preparation, 2 nights, 20 candidates, and a whole lot of questions and answers, these debates are over. So here are my thoughts tonight. When you go into a crowded field like this with some people assured of being eliminated, you can bet that if you are a front runner, you're going to have a target on your back. And that certainly was the case last night for Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. And tonight, it was all Vice President Joe Biden. It started from the very opening and continued throughout most of the debate. In fact, a lot of the criticism, almost bordering on ridicule, was heaped on the Vice President throughout the debate. Let's take a sampling of that.
I'm going to go back to Vice President Biden because your plan does not cover everyone in America. By your staff's and your own definition, 10 million people, as many as 10 million people, will not have access to health care. And in 2019 in America, for a Democrat to be running for president with a plan that does not cover everyone, I think is without excuse.
I agree with the Congress member, but I don't hear an answer from the Vice President. I'm confused. I asked the Vice President point blank, did he use his power to stop those deportations? He went right around the question. Mr. Vice President, you want to be President of the United States. You need to be able to answer the tough questions. I guarantee you, if you're debating Donald Trump, he's not going to let you off the hook.
Mr. Vice President, there's a saying in my community, you're dipping into the Kool-Aid and you don't even know the flavor. You need to come to the city of Newark and see the reforms that we put in place.
Well, I find it fascinating. Everybody's talking about how terrible I am on these issues. Barack Obama knew exactly who I was. He had 10 lawyers do a background check on everything about me on civil rights and civil liberties, and he chose me, and he said it was the best decision he made.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
I'll take his judgment.
So that was kind of the tone of tonight's debate, and what all of that means, well, we'll break that down over the next 4 weeks or so. But what we saw in the last debate was when the debate started, Joe Biden was up by double Bernie Sanders' polling numbers. That's the same is true tonight, almost exactly the same numbers. In third place was Elizabeth Warren. That was back in June. Now here at almost the beginning of August, numbers almost the same. Kamala Harris is still in fourth, although she has come up about 3 percentage points. So the numbers from before the last debate and before this debate are roughly the same, although we had a big bump in the middle where Harris went up, where Biden went down, but things stabilized and have come around again. So what will they look like before we go to Texas? Impossible to know, but there will be some big shifts. I think we've got live pictures from the spin room. I bring that up right now because there will be a lot of people in that spin room trying to take those comments you heard just a few minutes ago and either enhance them or try to step away from them, depending on which candidates there are. The one thing we do know that the debates in Michigan will have an impact, and a big impact. As many as half of the candidates that appeared here in the last 2 days could be out of this race by the time they go to the next debate, and that means that the debates in Detroit will have a major impact on who the Democratic nominee for president is going to be. Marley?
And Rick, over the last 2 nights, we've really watched a competition for the spotlight. I know it's too early to talk about winners and losers, but who do you think did stand out on the stage?
I think Cory Booker tonight probably did himself some favors. He was right in the face of Vice President Joe Biden. I think Senator Booker probably got noticed more than he did in the first debate, to be sure. Kamala Harris kind of continued on her attacks. I'm not sure if Julian Castro had enough opportunity to speak, but he certainly did have a couple of push lines against the Vice President, as did Mayor de Blasio. But Mayor de Blasio, remember, is way down in the polls, and it would take a lot to get him to qualify for the next next debate. Not saying that he can't, but it would take a whole lot. I think last night, I think it might have been more of a wash. You got some of those folks with 0.5% that got some airtime, but I don't know if that's enough to get them up over the hump. It's a big, high bar to get into this next debate. We'll just have to see how it plays out. If we look at this race next Friday, when all of the compilation of polls come out, we'll have a much better picture of what that snapshot looks like. But the real poll I want to see is 3 weeks from tonight, perhaps, and see just what long-lasting impact these attacks, these counterpunches here in Detroit will have on that real clear politics average of polls 3 weeks from tonight. Marley?
Yeah, definitely a lot more to look forward to. All right, Rick Albin, thank you for that insight.